Hi everyone. Today we're going to learn the daily Tanya for Iyar, Tafshin Pei Dalet. So last time we learned about how our connection to Hashem, the connection that is created, how we are subsumed within Hashem's light, within Hashem's will. That's, if you will, an objective fact. When you do a mitzvah, that's just what happens. Now, and that tzaddikim, people who can feel this, people who can engage with this in a way that's fully organic, that's a gift. That's sort of the, if you will, the reward. And so now we're gonna talk about a sort of different aspect of this. Chapter 47. So in every generation, and every day, So one must see himself as if he left Egypt on this very day. So what does this mean? And this is the soul leaving the constraints of the body. Now we should say this is not the soul leaving the body as in death, but it's the soul leaving behind the constraints of the body. And the body being compared to the skin of a snake, right, which is dead. To be joined together and to be subsumed into the light of Hashem. How does it do this? So this is done by doing mitzvahs in general, and in particular, in accepting upon oneself Hashem's rulership, Hashem's kingship, in Kriyat Shema. Where one takes upon him Hashem's unitary control. Beferush, explicitly. When one says Hashem is our God, Hashem is one. And as we said above, if you remember, that Hashem is our God, and when we say our God, we mean, the word El means sort of an animating force. Hashem is our animating force. In the same way that he was for Avraham Avinu. Kmo Elohei Avraham v'chulei. And what do we mean that Hashem was the animating force of Avraham Avinu? What we mean is that he was completely devoted to Hashem. שהיה בטל ונכלל בייחוד אור אינסוף ברוך הוא. רק שאברהם זכה לזה במעשיו הילוכו בקודש ממדרגה למדרגה. But Avraham Avinu, so how is it that we can achieve something that only Avraham Avinu could achieve? So the difference is Avraham Avinu achieved this by himself, through his own, through sort of walking in Hashem's ways, and sort of doing it in a sort of unstructured and spontaneous and, what would you say, idiosyncratic kind of way. כמו שכתוב, ויסע אברהם הלוך ונסוע. It brings a pasuk to back this up. אבל אנחנו, but we, ירושה ומתנה היא לנו. We have a gift and an inheritance שנתן לנו את תורתו, that Hashem gave us his Torah. והלביש בה רצונו וחוכמתו יתברך. And he sort of built, he sort of, what's the word here? He sort of, he it's a bit of a hard word to translate. He sort of gave us his will and his wisdom, sort of wrapped up in the Torah. And his will and his wisdom are completely united with his self. And it is like Hashem gave himself to us, if you will. And you can think of self-giving. What does it mean to give oneself? It means to hand over one's will. It means to do what somebody else wants. כמו שכתוב בזוהר הקדוש, על פירוש ויקחו לי תרומה. And he brings the Zohar where it says ויקחו לי תרומה. דלי כלומר אותי. They shall give me, this actually works almost better in English. They shall give me an offering, right? So they shall give me, right? They shall take me and give me an offering, right? And because it's all one, because the mitzvah and Hashem are united. וזה שאמר ותיתן לנו השם אלוקינו. And this is what it says, ותיתן לנו השם אלוקינו, באהבה, וכולי. Right? So, it's Hashem you will give us with love, but it can be read as, you will give us Hashem, you will give us yourself with love. כי באור פניך נתת לנו השם אלוקינו, right? Because with the light of your countenance you have given us Hashem our God, right? You can read that with a comma, or you have given us Hashem our God, you have given us yourself. ולזה אין מונע לנו מדבקות הנפש בייחודו ואורו יתברך. And he's gonna, the way I envision him saying this is kind of screaming this, sort of, and there's nothing that could separate us from Hashem's light, אלא הרצון, except one's will. שאם אין אדם רוצה כלל חס ושלום לדבקה בו וכולי. Because if the only thing that is separating us from Hashem is just the will to accept His rulership over us, to accept His kingship, to accept His love. אבל מיד שרוצה, but immediately when somebody wants, ומקבל וממשיך עליו ולאותו יתברך, and one accepts upon himself Hashem's godliness, Hashem's kingship, ואומר השם אלוקינו, השם אחד, and he says, Hashem is our God, Hashem is one, הרי ממילא נכללת נפשו בייחודו יתברך. His soul becomes subsumed into Hashem's unity. Right? When he accepts Hashem's kingship, if he does so with, if he does the mitzvah of accepting Hashem's kingship, so he's sort of doing that all at once. He's doing a mitzvah, which is factually doing Hashem's will. It's becoming a vessel for Hashem's will. And in doing that, you're professing that you want to be a vessel for Hashem's will. So you're doing it in that moment. And you right away sort of become unified with Hashem, as we talked about. דרוח הייתי רוח, ואמשיך רוח. והיא בחינת יציאת מצרים. And this is what it means to leave Egypt. Egypt was a land of sorcery. It was a land of sort of many gods. A lot of astronomy. There's sort of a very big focus on nature and sort of the processes of nature. There's a sort of fatalism built into Egyptian culture, if anybody's learned about it. And there's sort of an escape from that fatalism and being ruled by Hashem, God, the creator, not just sort of fatalistically accepting oneself as part of creation. ולכן תקנו פרשת יציאת מצרים בשעת קריאת שמע דווקא. And that's why Chachamim decided to put the parsha of Yetzias Mitzrayim right next to Kriyat Shema. Af she'hi mitzvah b'fnei atzma, even though l'chayra it would seem that it's its own mitzvah. It doesn't. There's no reason to put those two together necessarily. Ve'lo mitzvat Kriyat Shema. It's not part of the mitzvah. It's its own mitzvah. Kedeita b'Gemara poskim, as it says in the Gemara, the poskim. Ela mipnei shehem davar echad mamash. But because it's really there's sort of one theme, and that's why they're put together, because they're Indian, their inner meaning is the same. וכן בסוף פרשת יציאת מצרים, and in the end of the parsha of יציאת מצרים, מסיים גם כן אני השם אלוקיכם. So going back to Hashem Elokeinu, right? So it says אני השם אלוקיכם, sort of wraps it all up very neatly, right? You can see that what it means to the end of Yetziat Mitzrayim, of leaving Egypt, is serving Hashem. This is mefarish in the story. והיינו גם כן, כמו שנאמר לנו. And that's also, Ani Hashem Elokechem is also sort of what we were talking about before. That Hashem is our animating force. To remember that. And all right, let's do it.